Very good. Dave West with Flag Spike. Here we are. Let me put this down on the ground here. And I am broadcasting this live right now over the internet. So you can warn yourself. No, there's no 7-second delay. Anyways, this is Dave. I'm with Kevin Nash, the great Kevin Nash.
Oh, thank you very much. Kind of like the Great Oz.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you really want to talk about that.
It's in color hair now. I used to spray paint it. Now it's done by God.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to bring up, I'm here primarily because of all of the fun that's been happening over on Twitter and on the internet currently. Wouldn't know about that, right? Please explain what you said about the entire thing, your entire philosophy about the wrestling dying or whatever it was said.
The first thing is that the people are in arms over a statement that I made, 10 years ago. The Vanilla Midget thing was probably said in '99. So, I mean, it's nothing that I said. These things I've said were before both those guys were deceased. That's one thing. Is that how can you say this? It's because you don't know the backstory. You haven't been following wrestling long enough. You shouldn't be able to have a comment unless you know facts. And you can have an opinion. My opinion is, I'm a 6'10" guy. I was a big kid growing up. I liked Andre. I liked Moose Chodlak. I liked Haystacks. I liked bigger than life people. I used to watch wrestling because of that. But I also liked the Sheik. But when I was a kid, the Sheik terrified me. When I met him, later in my career, when I met him, I was just like, wow, he's such a little guy, and it really took a lot away from him, that he wasn't this 7-foot monster that I had envisioned in my mind. And I think there's, I've talked to people today, and they've said to me, I was with so-and-so, and I got an in-ring opportunity to take a picture with him. When I got into the ring, I was taller than them, and it's kind of like, it was like electric.
Well, do you feel, we had a discussion, me and some people on the way down here for this convention. Do you feel that the emphasis is now on the lighter guys because it's just the athletics issue, versus back when I grew up, which was the 70s, 80s, 90s eras, where the wrestlers were like superheroes and supervillains fighting one another.
Yeah, and and I'm sorry, but that's what I was brought up on, and that's what I enjoy. It's just like, I'm sure that the people that watch silent films for 20 years had a hard time watching talkies. I'm sorry if people say you're behind the times. I'm not behind the times. I just know what I like, and that's my opinion. But at the same time, we also have a nation that's now almost 30% obese. We have kids that spend all their time in front of a television playing video games. So is wrestling changed, or has society changed to the fact that nobody works out anymore, so there aren't big guys anymore? Everybody looks like an Abercrombie or a Hollister model. I particularly don't find it imposing. I don't find it that entertaining. I don't want to watch 255-pound guys wrestle. I don't want to watch 212-pound guys box. That's just my opinion.
And I'm of the same opinion, to be very honest with you.
And that's just my opinion. And if you agree with me, fine. If you don't, there's no reason to cuss me. You just disagree with me. I'm going to vote for Obama. If you're going to vote for Romney, that's your choice. I'm not going to call you an idiot for voting for Romney. It's just your choice. As an American, we have those. We have the ability to make our own decisions and have our opinions. So my opinion is, on that day when two small guys ruled the world, it just took something away from something that was, as a kid, special to me.
Like I said, I agree with you on that.
Didn't realize I'd cut funds off to like homeless children someplace. I'm talking about fake pro wrestling. Gee.
All right, let's get off of that subject then. And we'll go back to a statement, the previous statement that got a lot of flack on Twitter about you saying to CM Punk, let's reform the NWO, or do you take the reins of it? Do you
I
do you
100%.
Would you like to see the NWO come back?
I don't even need. I don't need to be on TV. I don't need to talk on them. I've had plenty of TV time, and I've had plenty of my time. I think it's a brand that stands for something. I think that Punk would be the perfect guy to regenerate it and run with it and make it a faction. I just think it's a great brand. I think it's something that means a lot to a lot of people that aren't watching right now.
Well, and I have seen people walking around this convention with the NWO shirts on, and I think that brand is still there. I know you've been answered this a number of times, but I'll ask it again. What do you think happened with the NWO? Why did it slide into, so diluted of a brand at the end of WCW?
Well, I mean, I think that the way to get somebody over was to put a black and white shirt on them. It wasn't character development; it was just throw a shirt on them. So, of course, if that's all you're doing, then of course it's going to dilute the brand. It's like, if you overproduce Camus wine, you're not going to get $60 a bottle for it. So I mean, it's like supply and demand. Drives the cost down on anything, and if all of a sudden it's just kind of a watered down version of what was special, then of course it's going to dilute it, and it's not going to be as. But there was a Latino world order, there was a blue world order, there was.
Well, I think the blue world order was kind of a spoof of that, but
there was just a lot of world orders. So there was a black, there was a red. So
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So one last question: you are in Magic Mike, and what other acting roles are you looking to do?
Anything anybody will put me in. I mean, I'm wide open. I mean, I love it. I think that any day you're on a movie set, you're the luckiest person on earth. And anybody out there that's seen my work and wants to put me in a film, please, Pantheon Agency, call Cole Harris.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Nash, for the interview, and keep on going with those.
If my wife saw this, she would think it was possible for me to go more than 5 minutes without dropping an F-bomb.